Let's talk about the focus on justice, dignity, and respect for others. It's a continuation from the last chapter, Deuteronomy 24, and this is one is Deuteronomy 25, especially in how Israel treats people in disputes, business, and family matters. Though these laws may seem varied, they all point to a just, merciful society under God's law. So this chapter is separated into 7 parts. The first part is fair punishment, no humiliation, which encompasses verses 1 to 3. If someone is guilty and deserves a beating, they may be given up to 40 lashes, no more. The punishment must match the offense and not degrade the person. Your brother must not be degraded in your eyes. Jewish practice later capped this at 39 lashes to avoid accidental excess. Okay, so that is written in 2 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 24. Lesson: justice must be fair, not cruel. Even punishment must preserve human dignity. Second part of this chapter: care for workers, even animals. Verse 4: do not muzzle an ox while it is treading out the grain. Let the animal eat while working, a principle of fair treatment later applied by Paul to say workers deserve to be paid. Okay, and lesson: God's justice includes how we treat laborers and even animals fairly and with respect. Third, levirate marriage, preserving the family line, verses 5 to 10. If a man dies without children, his brother must marry the widow, raise a child in the name of the deceased brother, and protects the family name and inheritance. This is a very interesting part because when I paid for an agency to research my family tree, I discovered that I had a parent whose brother died and he had to marry his wife. So it was very common in the past, and it's even written in the Bible. So, if the brother refuses, the woman may publicly shame him by removing his sandal and spitting in his face. His family is then known as the family of the unsandaled. Unsandaled, I think. Unsandaled. Let me see how it's pronounced. Let me see, let me check.
Unsandaled.
Unsandaled. The family of the unsandaled. Lessons. Family loyalty and legacy were sacred in Israel. This law ensured protection for widows and continuation of a man's name. This practice appears in the story of Ruth and Boaz. Ruth 4. Okay, so fourth part. Boundaries and conflict, which encompasses verses 11 and 12. If two men are fighting and a woman intervenes inappropriately to defend her husband, she faces severe consequences. This law protects modesty and proper conduct, even in chaotic situations. Lesson: God's law respects human boundaries and dignity, even during conflict. Honest weights and measures, verses 13 to 16. Do not have two different weights. You must have honest scales and measures. Cheating in business is detestable to God. Honest commerce equals trust in society equals God's blessing. Lessons: integrity in business is part of holiness, and God hates dishonesty and profit making. Okay, so sixth part of this chapter: destroy Amalek. Remember the past, verses 17 to 19. Remember what the Amalekites did to you. Amalekites. They attacked Israel from behind, targeting the weak and weary during the wilderness journey. God commands, blot out the memory of Amalek. Do not forget. This was judicial sentence. Judicial sentence. Okay, this was judicial sentence. They had sinned against God and His people without provocation. Okay, so lessons: God remembers injustice, especially against the helpless. Some evils must be confronted and fully dealt with. Themes and lessons from Deuteronomy 25. First one is justice is measured, not excessive. Fair punishment protects society, but also the dignity of the guilty. Honesty and business matter to God. Integrity in the marketplace is a form of worship. Third law, all laborers deserve respect. From oxen to workers, fair treatment is God's protection. Fourth, family responsibility builds a strong society. God's law defend legacy, family, and the vulnerable. Fifth lesson, God does not forget injustice. Israel must remember the past and live out justice as a holy people, okay? So Deuteronomy 25 teaches that justice isn't about courts. It's about how we work, trade, fight, and care for family. Okay? God's people care are called to fairness, mercy, and memory, shaping a society that reflects his heart. So if you like this video, don't forget to drop a comment and hit the like button.